Nigeria. I'm being joined by an operator in the subsector. His name is Dele Oyekanmi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we know that microfinance banks have been around for some time. But let's talk about the concept of microfinance banks and its objectives.
Yeah, thank you very much. The concept of microfinancing came from the need to address the unbanked segment of the country, of the economy. We're all aware that the commercial banks we have in Nigeria, for instance, cater for about 20% of the population. Then what happened to the 80% that make up the rural people, the active poor in society? How could we bring them into banking? That is majorly what actually brought up the idea of microfinance banking in Nigeria. We've been having microfinancing in other form, like Isusu, the local balance, but making them, bringing them into banking proper, in that central bank will be able to have, an idea of what we actually have in the economy, not focusing only on 20%, but let's look at the population holistically, bring everybody into banking. That informed CBN into going to it. Let us introduce this because it has worked elsewhere in the world, and we believe it can equally work here.
So now that we know that that's the reason why it was formed, has it so far achieved its objective?
I will say yes, and I will say no. Why? Why do I say yes and no? Yes, because when you look at where we are coming from, and you see what has happened in the last 5 years on that about. One, we have to give kudos to the operators that we have done well. Just like Lisa, when you jump down from a tree, nobody's commending you, you have to commend yourself. But no, because a lot of people are still not yet reached. That's why I say no. Now, what can we do to bring these people together so that the answer will be complete yes? It's reaching out to, the economy, getting more people to come into microfinance banking, extending this opportunity to the people who should really benefit, the active point in society. The people really need this financing. The money in this country is in a few hands. We want to make the money available. Some people need as low as 10,000 or 5,000 to do business. They can't get it. They cannot walk to the big banks. They can't walk to First Bank of this world or the Guaranteed Trust Bank of this world. They are not cut out for that. Microfinancing is to take banking to the people. People are not to come to the banking, or you are not to have big edifice and as offices. No, you take banking to the people. The traders in the market don't have time to go to the banks, and that is why microfinancing is very important. So getting them into banking can only be made possible through microfinancing.
Now, you're trying to take banking to the people who are especially in the rural areas, as the farmers, most likely the traders.
Yes.
Now you're taking this money, you're trying to
unorganized private sector.
Yeah. You're trying to introduce some sort of banking for these people to tell them that it's easy for them to get credit.
Yes.
But a lot of times what we've heard is that issues have come up where microfinance banks have asked for collateral before any of these people can take credit. And is that supposed to be? When we know for a certainty that the microfinance bank is supposed to play an intermediary role which the banks can't play.
No. You see, we need to get it right. Microfinancing is not just limited to giving money to the traders, the petty traders. We have the SME funds as well. We have the medium scale traders. We have the small case traders. Now, if you are addressing all this, for those who are asking for money beyond the micro loans, they have to provide collaterals. Now, there's a platform for those who do not have collateral, microcredit.
But that microcredit, will it be able to do what they have actually come to collect?
I don't know when I started that some people need as low as 5,000 naira to do business. Some people need as low as 10,000 naira to do business. You may not know, but we are in the field. We know. I can tell you. Look at the people selling sachet water on the streets. Ask me, what's the capital base of what they are selling? It's less than 500 naira. You know, what the capital base of the young girl, young boy selling oranges on the streets? The woman that is selling pepper in the market, what's the capital base? It's less than 10,000 naira.
So such ones can come and
yes,
take
so people take the money. What we do, we bring them together as a group. You know, they know themselves because they operate under the same environment, within the same market. So they're able to say, okay, I can guarantee this person. So instead of giving us physical collateral, we allow them to do cross guaranteeing, you know, which is a form of collateral that we allow. You know, the essence of collateral is not just to sell it. It's not for, banks are not interested in your collateral. The essence of collateral is to say, okay, this customer have given my money. As he's going away with this money, there is possibility that it will not come back. If it does not come back, how do I get my money? But that's the essence of collateral. You know, but by the time we know the customer know themselves. And the most important thing in banking is character. You know, if the people can say, I can vouch for this customer. If another customer can say, oh, I know Harriet, I can vouch for her. Give her this 20,000 naira. And you're about 20 that come together. You know, the peer influence will not allow you to even default repayment. And if they default, because they have a pool where they equally contribute, that contribution will be used to defray the indebtedness of one of the members of the group. They wouldn't want to lose their money. So if there are 30 in a group, 20 in a group, and 25 of them have complied, 5 did not pay back, those remaining 25 will put pressure on the 5 who have not paid. So in this case, the level of default is very low. And that's how it has worked elsewhere in the world. We just started it here in Nigeria, and it's working now. You know, when we started initially, we were giving big money to customers, and we've had our fingers burnt. Virtually all of us in the business. We've learned our lessons now, and we're now going back to the basics.
So how do you do in terms of collection of data? Because that's also one way you should be able to stop defaulters from actually defaulting on their loans. How do you do in terms of data? Do you work with the credit bureaus to get data on customers?
Yeah.
Because you just said you don't only cater for traders and petty traders and farmers. You also cater for SMEs to medium-scale traders. So how do you work out in terms of making sure that you don't get defaulters?
Yeah, I'm happy you raised that. We're already working with credit bureaus. You know, CBN has made it mandatory for all microfinance banks to sign on at least 2 credit bureau in Nigeria. So, and this is giving us access to the credit registry. We're able to know this customer are defaulted in this bank. You know, there is possibility of circulation, moving from one bank to another, taking money, because we have well over 800 microfinance banks in Nigeria. So the credit bureau is helping us, you know, to prevent circulation of bad debtors. You know, and that is what we are working on. And we encourage many microfinance banks to equally sign on this platform.
So apart from the issue of data collection, what are other issues actually bedevil the microfinance banks?
First was, lack of capacity building. You know, you can't give what you don't have. Many of us came from commercial banks, and we ran into microfinance banks and started running it as if we are still running commercial. Bank. It's a different platform altogether. I equally came from a commercial bank background, but coming to microfinancing, I had to put aside the toga of commercial banking and learn the rudiments of microfinancing. This some of my colleagues did not do, and I equally want to commend CBN here, because when we started, both the operators and the regulators were learning almost at the same time. But now a lot of things have changed. We've been hammering on capacity building. Now it's in form, it's in place. So you cannot have any MD of microfinance bank now who has not gone through the CIBN certification program in place. I think from 2014 or 2015. You must pass through that program, no matter your level of qualification. If you have PhD, you're a fellow of Chartered Institute of Bankers, you're a fellow of Chartered Institute of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Whatever you have, you must pass through that process. And that has helped us to know the rudiments of microfinancing, because it's a sharp different departure from commercial banking. Many people don't know.
Apart from the top brass, that's now the management that we're looking at, what about the other staff who will be working, interfacing with the people?
Yeah, all are being trained at the same time, and we encourage other microfinance banks to please queue into this program so that let our staff be trained. Because like I said earlier, you can't give what you don't have. If staff don't know what the project is all about, they cannot sell it outside. You can only say what you know. You can't say what you don't know. So marketing is very important. You must get the basics of what you are selling before you can sell it. So training, training has no substitute, and it has no limit. It's more continuous training, and even those of us who are part of the certification program, we continue to train ourselves. I will believe in total quality training, management.
What other challenges are facing microfinance operators?
Funding. The level of funding we have in the sector is very low. And that's why we have been clamoring for it at the association level, that, the government and the regulators should come to our aid. The economy is huge. This is a very huge economy. And you see, the foreign investors who have come to this economy as operators in the microfinance subsector are making so much money because the scheme is credit-driven. It's not so that customer will trust you with their money, with deposit. No, customer don't bring deposit here. They believe that if you have come with money, you must give them, first trust them with your own money. It's when you trust them with your money, they cannot come back and trust you with their own money. You understand what I'm saying? So now, we need a lot of money to be injected into this sector. The federal government, the state government should assist us to grow this subsector so that the Nigerian people will benefit, especially when in a democracy now. Dividend of democracy will get to the grassroots better through microfinance banks.
Now, one of the reasons I've heard is that that people don't bring their monies to microfinance banks is because of the crisis which many of them are facing, and lots of them have closed shop and depositors' funds are trapped there.
No, you see, if you look at this was tackled in 2010 by Central Bank. Licenses of microfinance banks were withdrawn. And since then, a lot of things had happened. You see, I want to appeal to our customers, to the majority of Nigerians, that there's no cause for alarm. All microfinance banks in Nigeria have their deposit insured by NDIC, so which give them hope. Rather than giving their money to Alajo, somebody who does not have any pedigree. This man should die, he will die with your money. If this man should run away, he will run away with your money. But microfinance banks are regulated, they are licensed, they are monitored. So, and they are insured by Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation. So what else can government or can the CBN give to them, or can we give to the people? And we're going to assure them. In Lagos recently, we organized a customer forum, bringing all our customers in Lagos State together. And we invited NDIC, CBN. The CBN was there, represented by the director. NDIC was there. Lagos State officials were there. And it was a huge occasion. Customers opened up, told the operators, the regulators, their mind, the shortcomings they have observed. And the regulators were not shy in answering all the questions. It was a huge occasion. I believe if you have this kind of forum, it will be interactive, and we make progress from there.
But you talked about the regulation, the regulatory and policy framework.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, as an operator that is, do you feel that it's too strict, or you feel that better policies could have been put in place to encourage operators in this subsector?
Rome was not built in a day. I just told you, I personally believe in total quality management, continuously improving the way you do things. Now, we started this scheme in 2005, and this 2013. The policy has been retuned, fine-tuned, and I believe it is a continuous process. As we continue to collaborate, to discuss, dialogue with the regulators, the policy is made for us. We are not made for the policy. So we're going to fine-tune it, and we're going to get better results from it. Because the aim, the ultimate goal is for the Nigerian people to benefit from this scheme, isn't it? And so if there's a good congruence among us that, okay, the regulators, the operators agree that this scheme is designed for the Nigerian people, therefore we must all work together to achieve the objective, to make sure that the Nigerian people actually benefit indeed from it. Well,
we know that when you collect loans from or intervention or bailout packages from the regulator, as a CBN, do they give with a criteria on it? Because when eventually the microfinance banks have to give this money, this funds to people who need it, their interest rates are really, really high. And sometimes there's been complaints, and which is another reason why a lot of people don't go to the microfinance banks because they feel that the interest rate, which sometimes comes in as high as 7% per month, it's just too much for them.
No, you have to look at dynamics of the interest rate. First, let me tell you that we have not gotten any financial support from the regulators. We have not, but we hope to get, because a lot of things are in place now. I believe before this year runs out, the support will come from the regulators to the microfinance banks. Now, if you talk about the interest rates, the interest rates being charged by microfinance banks is based on the cost of funds to microfinance banks. Now, if I'm getting money from a commercial bank at about 32%, per annum, just look at it. It comes to me at about 3% flat. Because that charge will still go into it. They're charging me about 3%. At what rate will I give it to? Will I give it out? That will be able to take care of my costs, pay my overhead costs, pay my bills, and I need to pay my staff. I need to do other things. Then I need to equally declare dividend to my shareholder, to the investors, who I put the bank together. So what do I do? So I need to up, the interest to accommodate that. The interest now has to be passed to the customers, So, but we believe that if you have access to cheap funds, of course, it's in our interest as well to crash the interest so that the people will benefit and there will be less pressure on them. But I equally want to say, with due respect to you, I equally want to say that even though the interest rate is high now, our customers in the market are not complaining. Those traders, people we are really addressing, the active point society who invest this money in business, they're not complaining. Because
is that the result of a latest survey that you did on your customers?
Yes, because I just told you we had a customer forum, and they're saying, look, give all this money, because if they invest this money, they make more money on it. Somebody who has invested 10,000 naira, and at the end of the day, that 10,000 has become 20,000. It's 100% margin. So if you now ask him to go and pay 7%, 8%, can he complain?
Well, hold that thought. We're going to come back and we're still going to talk about those funds which we'll expect to go into the market. You're still watching Business Morning on Channels Television, and we're discussing microfinance banking in Nigeria. I've been talking to an operator in the subsector, Dele Oyekanmi.